Hello and welcome back. If you're new to the channel, let me introduce myself. I'm Alejandro. I'm a media composer and sound designer, and I also create Kontakt instruments under the name Acousmatic Sounds. I'm very excited to share with you a new Kontakt instrument called Pulsing Phaser Pad. And I'm not gonna dwell too long into how I created the sound sources. We're gonna check out all of the controls and sound sources that come with this new instrument. So let's have a look. This is a Pro Tools session I created to show you the pulsing phaser pad. I have an instance of Kontakt already open with our sample instrument ready to go. When you open the pulsing phaser pad, this is what you're gonna see. Now let's go over each of the controls you get with this UI. Over here we have attack and release controls. In this section over here we have EQ controls. There's 3 EQs. In the left you have the gain control, and on the right you can choose which frequencies you want to control. And over here in the bottom you have a stereo spreader control. This particular control is really interesting because it adds a very cool dimension to each of the sound sources. When you move over to the main section over here, you'll see 4 faders. They each control a different sound source. I won't describe each of these sound sources very much, we'll just have a listen. Let's begin with the first one, obviously. Something very cool about the instrument is that each sound source has 4 round robins. Much like it would be on an acoustic instrument, each round robin here is just slightly different from the other one. And another really cool thing is each sound is quite long, even if you're very high in the register. So as you can hear, the notes are very long and a lot happens. If you leave a note pressed, you'll see that it goes through this whole journey. So you see, it's pretty quite magical if you play around with the attack and release controls. And if you bring the attack all the way up, the fact that you can control the EQ in detail really brings out a lot. Because if we had to listen to something quite low, and we'll bring the frequency to the low and let's bring the gain really down. There's still a lot of information up here in and if you really wanted to boost those basses, you can really go quite intense. Let's go to the second sound source, which is called R. Let's move over to the third sound source, which is called C. I'm gonna play a C major chord and let's just have a listen to what it sounds like. Now, this is obviously not a C major chord, but it is some sort of bizarre sound design dimension that, well, we didn't really even know existed until today. Alright, let's move over to the final sound source. As you will notice, the attack and release controls don't affect this final one. They just affect the first three. Now let's have a listen to what the spreader does to this signal. And like always, all of our Mari instruments, they are all CC assignable. Well, let's play a little bit with a combination of these sound sources. So as you can hear with this new instrument, you can really create a lot of very bizarre textures, a combination of sound design elements with some very interesting melodic sound sources as well. Having the ability to control the EQ to as much detail as you can, it allows you to create a lot of different textures. And that was the pulsing phaser pad. I hope this new instrument sparks some inspiration in you, and if you would like to have a go at the pulsing phaser pad, you can do so by going to the Acousmatic Sound store. The link will be in the description below. Throughout the whole month of February, this pad is gonna have a special price, so be sure to be quick and get it as soon as possible. I think that the sound sources of the pulsing phaser pad are quite unique and peculiar, so when you find the right track for them, they're really gonna stand out. As I have been doing since the beginning of this year, I'm gonna keep releasing Kontakt instruments either bi-weekly or monthly. I have a handful of instruments that are ready to go, and these I'm gonna be releasing on a monthly basis, along with some in-depth video like the one we just saw, perhaps also with some demos every now and then. Most of these Kontakt instruments are very sound design oriented, but there are a few strings, there's a few synths. As I continue releasing these instruments that are ready, I want to continue adding new ideas to acousmatic sounds, which is why I would love to hear from you if you have any ideas or any suggestions of concepts that you think are worth experimenting with. It doesn't necessarily just have to be sampling an instrument that you think would be worth. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoy the pulsing phaser pad, as well as the other acousmatic sound instruments that I've already shared with you. You can find out more about them by going to the Acousmatic Sound stores, or by going through my channel and seeing some of the in-depth videos I've already shared with you. I really appreciate all of the support from the community out there, whether it be with a like, by subscribing to my channel, or by downloading some of my instruments directly from my website. It really means a lot. I will also suggest you to check out my Patreon, where you can choose from 4 different tiers, whether you're only interested in the music that I make or in the sample instruments that I create. You can choose the tier that suits you best. If you made it all the way to this point of the video, thank you very much for your patience. Like always, please like this video, share it with all of your music making friends, subscribe to the channel because there's going to be a lot of new material coming out very soon, in-depth tutorials, new demos, new music, a lot of very cool things I'm excited about. And I guess that's it for today. So thank you very much again, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.